Celebrating its 60th anniversary with military parades and festivities. But all is not well in the communist state. Amid allegations of abuse by the rich and powerful, a series of party officials across rural China have been killed, sparking sympathy not for the victims, but for the killers. Our Asia correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh reports on the backlash against alleged corruption.
Rural China, a world where farmland has, in just a decade, given way to throbbing cities, where rapid industrialization has left some poor but made a few very rich, and where people have learned big money can spell big corruption. The Zhang family should be outcasts in the city of Lisha, their son stabbed to death, the party secretary here. But in rural China, where corrupt officials run riot, they become local heroes.
My son got rid of an evil man for the local people. Now that he's dead, nobody needs to be afraid that he'll harm anyone again.
She shows us around the little empire ruled by the party secretary, Li Shimin, who shattered her world. This hotel is built on land she says Li cleared by force for developers, and this street sits where the Zhangs had a pear orchard for 20 years their life. When she complained to more senior officials about being evicted, Li had her jailed and beaten.
After they beat me, I couldn't get out of bed for 3 to 4 months. The head of the detention center walked in with a metal lock this big and smashed my knees. He said, "How dare you try to report to higher officials?" My knees swelled and were black and blue for a long time. I didn't know if I'd ever come out. I was lucky just to be alive.
It's a story of abuse of power that many Chinese have experienced. Not everyone complains. This man helped lead protests here and was beaten so savagely in jail, they say, his right side is paralyzed and he can no longer talk.
Li is cruel and brutal. He kills without a blink of an eye. Everybody in our family is a victim of him.
Last September, 18-year-old Zhong Xuping walked up to the party boss in a school and stabbed him once in the heart.
Even if he's sentenced to death, in my heart, he's still a hero. His death will be worth it. It's for a good cause.
20,000 angry villagers agreed, putting their names on a petition asking he be spared. Thumbprints and appeals for clemency, traditions dating back to the days of the emperor. But this support for the murder of corrupt officials is new in modern China.
He deserved to be killed, totally deserved it.
Well, the sympathy felt here for a man who basically murdered a local official in cold blood exposes a major problem for the Chinese authorities. People are increasingly furious at government corruption, and of course they're not turning to the government for help. In more extreme cases, they're taking matters into their own hands. Zhang Xuping's mother and brother bring him clothes in jail. Last Thursday, China celebrated 60 years since Mao led a people's revolution to victory against a rich elite. The popular support for this case makes the authorities very nervous. Officials have the mother under surveillance and have told her to stay clear of Beijing. And they've delayed the start of her son's trial until after the anniversary.
Despair towards the system is dangerous. People have lost faith in any kind of social order. It's a challenge to the authority of the Communist Party.
Zhang Xuping isn't the first murderer to be eulogized. This is Yang Jia. He was tortured by police. Then he walked into a Shanghai police station and stabbed 6 officers to death. He was executed, but not before he gained massive sympathy among bloggers and Chinese furious at police brutality. His grave is still visited by sympathizers. Officials try to turn them away on this mobile phone video. And online, there are music videos in his honor. There's even a pop song about him. Not the kind of popular heroes the authorities want on display for the 60th anniversary.
The ruling party doesn't have any legitimacy in the first place. It believes this itself. That's why it's paranoid. Why did they need to prepare for National Day like this? Is it a party or a funeral?
The anniversary celebrations passed without a hitch, a tightly choreographed display of military might and festivities meant to showcase the harmony at the heart of this society. But beneath it all, there's an undercurrent of popular discontent that sometimes flares into violence, and an anger that will have many Chinese wondering if the People's Republic of China really is for all the people. Nick Payton-Walsh, Channel 4 News, Beijing.
The reality behind the parades of Beijing. After the break, this year's Turner Prize nominees are